Hey, Senda.
Hey, Phil.
I got a couple more topics for us to do. Can we do another grab bag episode? Because it's the holidays, and in the spirit of Christmas miracles, we could just do like more questions that people sent in, and even do one that you want to do because it's Christmas.
I don't know how to respond to that, and I wish that I could express to our listeners the physicality that went with the question. But having said all of that, sure, let's do a grab bag.
I was hoping for some sort of enthusiastic yes.
Okay. Yes.
Cue music. And welcome to another episode of Panda's Talking Games, where we literally are making up how to put the show together while we're recording it. And I am one of your hosts, Phil.
And I am your other host, Senda. And for tonight's episode, we are indeed going to do another grab bag because this is the week of Christmas. And in fact, we are recording on Solstice. So happy Solstice to everybody who is celebrating. It is the longest night. And tomorrow marks the return of light to the world, which is...
Yay! Yeah, because I'm happy I'm waiting for the days to get longer.
I could use some light. Yeah.
Anyway, so we had a couple topics, one of our own laying around, and a couple that listeners provided, and we like to do those things. And I'm not opposed to doing a few grab bags, especially during the holidays. They're lighter shows. We're busy, we're doing Christmassy, stuff and trying to wrap up our year, at work, trying to get stuff done at work and all that stuff. So, yeah. So let's be all let's be all full of holiday cheer, and let's do something out of the grab bag. Why don't you give us our first topic?
Yeah, so our first question came to us from Lurker in the Shadow on Twitter, who asked, Cyberpunk Red, what's the good, the bad, and the panda with it? Well, so the reason that I asked this question is because I'm not reading it, but you are. So what are your thoughts, feels, impressions so far?
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so let's do some bona fides here. Let's do a disclaimer and some bona fides.
Sure.
So disclaimer, I have not yet played Cyberpunk Red. I have not gotten it to the table to play it yet.
Yes.
So everything I'm going to talk about is strictly from my read through.
Yeah.
Okay. But to qualify my read through, I have been playing Cyberpunk for some time. I bought the original 2013 box set with Friday Night Firefight. I played 2020. I have much supplements. In fact, my love for this game is so much that the rocker boy, the rocker boy, which I've argued is the best bard on the Misdirected Mark show, and the rocker boy from Rocker Boys and Vending Machines was inspired by Cyberpunk 2020. Right? So I know a little bit about this game system, and I have run previous versions of it a lot. Okay? So also take that with a grain of salt.
Sure.
Okay, so with all that said, Cyberpunk Red, what do I love? What do I don't love? And what am I struggling with? How's that?
Sure. Yeah.
The good, the bad, the panda?
The good, the bad, then is the panda the struggle part?
I guess.
Is that because
sure.
you just get drunk and fall off of things?
What's the thing I'm falling off the chair over?
Yeah, sure, yeah.
Okay. All right, things I love. So things I love the layout of this book. For starters, it's a very clean layout, and actually if you read up on their site, they actually went to some pains to pick a font, I think fonts that were visually accessible.
Yeah.
They also went with a really clean layout template, white background, very easy on the eyes.
Yeah.
It's got It's 2 columns at times and 1 column at times, even for an 8 by 11 book. And I like kind of how they mix that up from time to time. So like in the middle of a chapter, they'll suddenly go from 2 column to 1 column and then back to 2 column. It's easy. Like it's pleasant. It's pleasant to read. It is not difficult to read. The artwork is amazing. The having the 2013 rulebook, which I believe was laid out on a Mac in 1989, right? In Quark Express in 1989.
Right.
And seeing the line art that was used for that compared to the absolute sick art budget that was used in this. The art is fantastic. It has a lot of things that if you are a fan of the older Cyberpunk game, you will dig, like the quotes are stuffed in all the white spaces. So there's quotes from various NPCs and things like that. Mechanically, the game is not drastically different than Cyberpunk 2020. I think it smooths out a couple rough areas, but if you are familiar with playing Cyberpunk 2020, it is very much the same. If you are not familiar with playing Cyberpunk, then I will say this: it is a very traditional game. Do not expect it to be like a PBTA or a Fate or anything like that. It's very much a traditional game. You are typically rolling stat plus skill plus 1d10 versus a difficulty number, sometimes opposed, sometimes flat difficulty number. Yes.
So is there one particular thing or anything that has stood out to you so far in reading these changes for the first time? Like, do you have one favorite or specific not favorite thing that they did change or update about the rules?
Sure. Yeah, I can. So from the player side, and I think this is really awesome, each of the character archetypes, so there's like kind of classes in the game, like solo, nomad, cop, corporate, or whatever. Each of those always had a skill.
Sure.
And in the previous incantations of the book, that skill was pretty like thinly described.
Sure.
And what they've done now is like they've made that skill for each one of the archetypes. It is so much more expansive. Like it gives you so many more things that it's not even just a skill anymore. It's like an indication of like how prevalent, like how good you are at your particular archetype.
Yeah.
So for some of the ones like med tech, it gives you points to put in these like very specific med tech skills. If you're a nomad, it gives you access to like more vehicles.
Ooh.
So they did like a really nice thing with it. Like it's much beefier. So I think like when you are a player, the investment in that skill and raising that skill has some real tangible benefits besides it's just going to make your die roll cooler.
Right.
So
that's cool.
I really like what they did with the character classes, and I think in general every one of those classes feels just like the original class but better.
Yeah.
Like they just made each one even more enjoyable to play it.
Nice.
Okay, so that's cool. Definitely the standout thing for me. Mechanically, it feels to me very much like the original game, which I'm very okay with. Right, I have no problem with the original game. It's very straightforward. It's really easy to learn. Skill checks are easy. Combat's pretty straightforward. It's pretty deadly, and they just tell you that in the book. Like, it's deadly. You're gonna lose characters from time to time if you're not careful. So that's the thing. And if you don't lose them, you're going to lose parts of your characters because there's definitely some rules where it's just like, well, you took a critical hit, you no longer have an arm.
But it's Cyberpunk, so you can get a new one. Right?
You can get a clone one for just the cost of a hospital visit. You can get a regular cyber arm that doesn't do anything fancy for the cost of a hospital visit. Or if you want to shell out money, you can get your cyber arm that like is all jacked up and does cool stuff.
Right.
I will say one.
Yeah. Next time you're in the hospital, you should probably opt for the jacking it up instead of just going for the clone.
Well, if you're broke on cash, right? Like if you're broke on cash, you can get an arm.
I'm kidding about you're broke.
Oh, me? Yes.
You personally. Yes. You personally, not the theoretical
I should have gotten the clone.
You.
Yeah, I definitely should have.
Yeah. With your cyber arm. Anyway, sorry, carrying on.
Yeah, so one little thing I really liked is, and I'll just mention this because I'll just mention this because I think it's a really cool little feature. There's so one of the surgeries is gender affirmation surgery, and purposely designed because I read this in a set of tweets. The procedure is low cost.
Yeah.
It is ubiquitous, so you can go almost anywhere to get it. Like you can get it at a clinic, you can get it at a you don't have to go to a hospital for it. It costs no humanity, which is the index by which kind of limits how much cybernetics you can jam into yourself before you have like a mental breakdown.
Yeah.
So it has no humanity cost.
Sure.
And it like you can get it anywhere. So it's cheap, available, and doesn't detract from your humanity. Like it's just routine. Like if you need it, want it, have it.
Nice.
And then you can do some other stuff. Like you can get some exotic stuff. Like if you wanted to be like a cat, like you want to be cat boy, that will cost you.
Why would you say that?
Well, that will cost you some humanity.
Why would you mention that particular idea?
I'm just saying. Like if you wanted a tail, like that will cost you money. But if you wanted to just, if you wanted to change your character's gender, you totally can. And it's not it's not a thing. And I like that. Like I like that, they didn't have to address it. You know what I mean? But they addressed it and were like, oh no, it's normalized. It's routine and it happens all the time. And even better, they took away the humanity cost, which
that's a big thing. Like you shouldn't have to worry about stat block stuff
or taking a penalty, right? Like,
that's what I mean.
Exactly. And they give a good explanation, right? They're just like, the reason you lose humanity for cybernetics is because you stop thinking about yourself as human. Like when you can punch through like a car door, right? Like your humanity takes a hit. But if you're just changing your gender to the gender that you best identify with, then that's just normal.
Yeah.
And I thought that was like, again, it's nice. It's just a nice little thing in the middle of the game.
Yeah.
Okay. So I've said a lot of things that I love about the game. I have very little to say about what I don't love about this game. I don't think I have anything at this point without having run it where I've been like, ugh, like, I don't think I like it. The net running might be the one area where I'm like, maybe not my favorite, but I also, as a game designer as a game designer who has played previous iterations of this game, and a GM who has run previous iterations of this game, I appreciate what they've done to net running.
Yeah.
I'm just not 100% sure till I play it.
Yeah.
If I'm totally on board with it. It's a much more linear. So previous versions of this thing were like a dungeon crawl that you played in the middle of the game with everyone else.
We've talked about this before.
Yes.
It seemed like not the best idea because everybody else would sit there bored, and then the netrunner would sit there bored while everyone else did stuff.
Yeah, it was very difficult to pull that off smoothly. This has a much more a linear, faster version that you do integrated into the initiative with everyone else.
Sure,
it's not bad. I have to see it though. Like I gotta actually GM this to be like, okay, I'm 100% on board with this.
Sure.
But it's my one area where I'm like, okay. And then the thing I'm struggling with, and again, I like this game a lot, right? Yeah. The one piece I'm struggling with is the setting. So the Cyberpunk games have always had its own history, its own canon. And this game hitches off of the end of what's called the Fourth Corporate War, which was like part of the canon from previous. And it does some stuff. I don't want to give any spoilers away, but it does some stuff to Night City, which is the main setting. And I am like, I get it. Like it all fits. The canon all makes sense or whatever. But what I don't know yet, and I haven't quite finished reading the Night City chapters yet, is can I still have the kind of cyberpunk adventures that I'm used to running when I ran 2020? Like it's not 2020, it's 2045. The world is different. Night City is different, but like, can I still do like, I don't know. Can you
still tell that kind of story that you've been excited to tell again?
Yeah. Or is it like a different type of cyberpunk story, because cyberpunk as a genre is really big, and that's okay, right? Like, it's really okay that cyberpunk as a genre is, far more, far larger than, just Neuromancer.
Sure.
I have a very strong attraction. I have a very I'm a very old school cyberpunk fan, right? Neuromancer, the Sprawl trilogy is like some of my favorite material, and so for me to not be able to run something that might be exactly like the Sprawl trilogy is a little more of a hurdle.
Yeah.
But I like this game enough that I'm like, I'm going to get through the GMing section, kind of see what else is in there in terms of how to run sessions for it and stuff like that. And maybe they'll win me over. And if they don't, I'll just take the rules and run it. Like, I'll just run 2020 using the
setting
rule.
You just take the setting from 2020 back. And
I really could.
Forward. Yeah.
Now, saying all that, again, very traditional game. If you are not a person who's like, oh, I don't really want to play a traditional game, I want my more indie game, then I'm just going to go recommend get the Sprawl. I have also run the Sprawl.
Yeah.
It is fantastic. It does cyberpunk in PBTA wonderfully. And I am thrilled with it, and I enjoyed playing it, and it feels very cyberpunky. And so if you want indie plus cyberpunk, go play the Sprawl. And if you are cool playing something traditional, then by all means, I think Cyberpunk Red is going to do you just fine.
All right, cool. Let's move along.
Yes, sorry. Hope that wasn't too much.
No, that's okay. It's obviously a game that you were excited about, which is part of the reason that people wanted to hear you talk about it.
Sure.
Right? Sure. Because like we keep like dancing around the edges of it for a while. Cool. So our next question came to us from Mo, the tabletop bellhop. And this is going to be fun when I try to pronounce these words.
Do your best.
So bear with me. Because I know how I would say them in, I don't know, onomatopoeia.
Well, they're Latin, so just go with it.
I know. I'm going to do my best. Latin was never a language that I took. Which is the better giant panda? The Ailuropoda melanoluca or the Ailuropoda melanoluca ginglingensis?
Okay.
Ginglingensis?
So at this point, I think it's important to say that I don't actually know the difference between these two species of pandas.
Me either.
So I'm going to tell you, and so true to the question, I did not look up because I think it said not to look up what they were.
I don't know if it did, but I think it's much more fun this way.
Yes. So
we didn't look them up
yet.
We are going to look them up. Open to help us out in a minute.
Okay. So what I like for pandas is first of all, I like pandas that fall down a lot, that are kind of rolly, like they roll around. But if there's a difference in size, then I like the little panda. Like, the video of the person trying to clean the panda enclosure?
And there's baby pandas, and they keep jumping in the rake and the bucket and holding onto their legs.
Right. Maybe those are baby pandas, or maybe if there's a smallish panda.
There's a small breed panda?
Right, then it's that one. Okay. I don't know which one that is, but if there's a bigger or smaller, I'm putting my like on the smaller.
Right. Well, so let me ask you another question. So, what do you consider to be key best panda traits? Whether those are physical traits or action traits.
All right. So panda. So first of all, it's got to be black and white.
Mm-hmm. I agree with you on that. I like black and white panda better.
I mean, traditional black and white panda eating bamboo, right?
Mm-hmm. Bamboo nomming, yes.
And I don't know. They seem kind of like they fall down a lot. I don't know if that's a trait or just something I like about them, but they seem to fall down a lot.
They're just sort of roly-poly, clumsy blobs of
yeah,
fun.
They're kind of adorable, right? Okay. So I think that's all I got on this.
Okay,
right?
I think that's all I got too. Should we look?
Yeah. Tell us about each one. Yes.
Okay, so the first one, the Ailuropoda melanoluca. Oh boy, is the giant panda. So that's your standard panda. That is a black and white panda. That is exactly what we expect. That is the kind of panda that we are generally referring to on this show. Okay. The other kind of panda that I'm not going to try to pronounce again, that is the three very long words long.
Sure.
Is the Kinling panda, which is actually the brown panda.
Oh, well then, yeah.
The brown giant panda, but brown.
No hate on the brown panda.
No, that's
but
fine.
The first panda is then my panda.
Yeah, they're still cute.
Yeah.
But definitely, I think I'm more into the standard giant panda.
Yeah, I definitely have to say that the first panda is probably then more representative of what I think when I think panda.
Yeah.
So yes, that's what I like.
Yeah. Okay.
That was Mo, right? Was that Mo?
That was Mo. Thanks, Mo.
Ding.
Ding. We did the pandas.
Okay, so now we have one topic from you.
Right. So we have a topic just because I know that this show is going to drop just before the new year. And as we last time did gifts as we went into the strong holiday week, which is the week that we are now in. So this month? No, what is this? A week. Oh boy, is it still March?
Yes, it's like the 347th day of March.
So on this episode, I thought that we could talk about well, let's be honest. We are neither doing resolutions this year, the 2020. We are neither doing resolutions, nor do we want to look backwards. And so what we would like to do in preparation for the new year on this particular episode is to just chat for a couple of minutes about what we are excited about in gaming for 2021.
Like what we're going to bring to the table.
Yeah, like what we're going to bring to the table. Like what are you excited to run or play next year?
Cool. Do you want to go first? I did a lot of talking previously.
Right, because we talked about Cyberpunk Red. Sorry, I asked the question, so I automatically went to hand it to you.
No, it's okay.
Sure, I'll talk. So the game that I am playing right now, I am both excited to continue playing and also excited to back hopefully in February, which is Our Traveling Home, which you probably heard me talk about a bunch and is also still airing on She's a Super Geek right now. It is the last episode of Our Traveling Home will be the last episode of She's a Super Geek. And so I couldn't be more pleased about that.
Are you two traveling home then? Is that the...
Oh, it's just so good. I mean,
is that like just the fitting way to end the...
It's just such a heartwarming thing about found family and the podcasting experience that Andy and I had with that show was such a found family experience that I just don't know if we could have possibly ended on a more
apropos.
Correct. It was just so perfect. Anyways,
I agree.
I really love that game. I'm facilitating it for my home crew right now. In its still in testing form, but I know that Ash is still aiming to have it on Kickstarter in February. So oh my gosh, keep your eyes open. And I'm really excited to finish it. We're probably not going to play again until play that game again till the new year when you have everybody back at the table. So we pretty much did session 0 for that game this year. So that's
awesome.
That's the first thing. Secondly, and this is really funny because I don't know the name of it because I didn't ask the name of it. There's a couple of LARPs that I'm really excited to try online next year. And the really terrible thing is that what happens with these is that Wen's oh, I just played a cool thing. We should play it. And I'm that sounds awesome. We should play it. And I don't know what they're called. So
we'll find out about them as you play them. So
you will.
So
indeed.
more online LARPs.
More online LARPs is the
fantastic.
thing. Yes, more of those because we were in the habit of doing a big party LARP once a month, and so we're trying to at least do one once every quarter. I don't know. It's fine.
No, I think it's fine. Yeah.
You still get to do costumes and stuff. We did one for my birthday. It was delightful. Yeah. And I'm going to steal your thunder on one little thing. Ha 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 ha. I've been watching all of this Star Trek, which, don't get me wrong, I have enjoyed purely for the joy of watching Star Trek and then having weird moments of rereading an old favorite book and suddenly being there's a Star Trek joke in here that I never got before. And I've read this book so many times, right? But the other game that I'm really excited about going into 2021 is that I'm finally going to play a Star Trek game that you are going to run.
So to be clear, how much Star Trek have I made you watch before I'm willing to run this game?
I mean, I have now watched a curated romp through all of TNG. Curated.
Yes.
Right? And then we're in season 6
yes.
of DS9.
Yes.
Yes. Good.
Yes. So not a small amount of Star Trek.
No. So we've been preparing to play this game for a while.
I mean, so yes, on 2 points. One, I wasn't ready to run it yet.
Yes.
I wanted to run it in next year. But two, and I need to say this in the most sensitive way possible, understanding I think you understand now how much of a Trek nerd I am, right? I didn't want you to play this game wrong.
Ouch.
And I'm not talking about the rules. We'll figure out the rules as a
whatever,
group.
rules are
I'm
fine.
talking about the canon. Like I needed
You didn't want
you to
me to be making up my own sci-fi tropes.
Correct. I needed you to, well, I mean, you can still make up your own once we start playing, but I needed you to be able to recognize the key ones. Like,
right.
If I drop something in the game, I need you to be able to be like, whoa, like.
It's fine. I know, like, what a Holosuite bottle episode looks like now.
Oh, yeah. Like holodeck accident episode, totally going to have one, right? Like,
yeah.
Time traveling episode, totally going to have one. Want a mirror universe?
I was like, are we going to go to the sexy universe? Because there's definitely the normal universe and then the sexy universe.
Also known as the mirror universe, but in DS9 it is definitely the
sexy
universe. Yeah, I think in the original series it wasn't quite as sexy. It was somewhat
just
sexy.
The terrible universe. But then
right.
But then they were like, but look what we can put Karen Nerys in.
Yes.
Dress her as a dominatrix.
Just march her around. Yes. So anyway, I mean, we at Misdirected Mark have been having a watch party. Has that watch party been used to get a number of potential players schooled up and ready to play in Star Trek? Also, yes.
Yes. But it has also been a very nice pandemic activity.
Oh, it's been so much fun.
It's been very good.
And actually,
I'm very grateful for it. And just being able to see like a world that has a functional government and stuff. It's been a good thing to dive into.
I myself am I'm in the last season of Voyager.
Yeah.
Like I'm about to knock off the last 20 something episodes of Voyager, and then I will have done a full watch of Voyager as well.
Yeah.
Which will have less to do with our game because I'm pretty much on the fact that we're not doing a Voyager game. Like we're in alpha. We're in the alpha or beta quadrant. Yeah. Anyway, good. I'm glad you're excited for that. I'm excited to run it. I don't even have the full crew yet. I have a few things I know, right? Like I know the ship. I don't remember I don't think I've named it yet. I just know which class of ship. And for people who are Trek fans, I want to do an Intrepid class ship, which is for people who aren't versed in it. That is the same ship as Voyager, which I think one is probably one of the best looking Star Trek ships, and two, it's got some pretty cool features. It's not ridiculously large like a Galaxy, and you can land it on a planet, and it's still big. It's got a little of everything.
We can still have some red shirts, as it were.
Oh, totally, right. Like it has a crew complement. Like unlike the Galaxy, which is like a floating city.
Right.
It is a purposeful ship, but it's made for long-term exploration, and it's got bioneural circuitry, which as soon as you name something like that, it goes wrong in at least one or. There's an early Voyager episode where the ship gets a cold. Right,
no.
The bioneural packs get infected. Yeah, it's a thing. Anyway, I'm also excited. That's a long way of saying I'm also excited about Star Trek.
It's gonna be great. I think I don't know. We still got time, but I'm probably gonna play a Trill because.
Oh, I don't blame you in the least. I have actually in previous games played a Trill.
Yeah.
And I have played a Bajoran.
Yeah. Both of
played
those
a
things sound delightful, but the thing about Trill that's really appealing is I would like to have a long, sordid history of previous relationships.
Oh, of course. Hosts are... yes.
Uh-huh.
The Dax symbiote is one of my favorite characters in the...
Great.
Good stuff. Okay, good. Any other games you're excited for?
I wish I knew the names of the LARPs that I'm like really excited to play. So I feel silly about that because I don't. But but that's fine. I'm trying to think. There was something else, but oh, you know what it is? I think it's still on Kickstarter even right now. Jian Shim is doing a solo game called oh shoot.
I can see the picture of it because it's that box of stuff.
Something of memory. Field Guide to Memory. There we go. And
nailed it.
It's super cool. It's going to start in February. So what you do is you back the Kickstarter right now. And in February, you start getting emails that are basically like functionally, it sounds like they're probably maybe in-character prompts for the game. And then you journal through them. And like your previous mentor was a cryptozoologist who's been missing in the field for 5 years. So you're trying to reconstruct her research because she's presumed dead, but like, so you're getting sort of all these bits and pieces and paraphernalia that was her old stuff to reconstruct both her research and then her relationships with you and others. And it just looks really cool. So I will be playing that by myself. And I am very excited for it. And one of the things that I need to do for that is find the perfect notebook to do it in, because that is going to be like, I need a physical like game piece for that. I didn't, there were physical level things. I didn't quite go that far in. It sounds like they're gone now anyway, but like where they're going to actually send out physical paraphernalia instead of just like imagery. But like the thing that I need is like, I need a little like character notebook thing that will be where all of that stuff tracks and lives. And I'm really excited about the game. And I think it is a brilliant idea to be doing right now while we're all still like staying as isolated as we can. And
I totally agree.
Great.
I think the I think that the stress of picking out the perfect notebook is going to be a lot. I have had notebook anxiety before. I'm gonna say like it's not gonna be something where like I'm like do and I just go online and find something. I'm like, oh, that looks cool, and then buy it. Oh no, I am expecting this to be a multi-day, if not multi-week, like foray experience into what is the correct notebook, both in terms of me using pleasantly, because we've talked about notebooks on this show before, and I like things like, opens flat, etc. But then on top of that, like from the perspective of like the trappings and setting of the game conceptually, it also needs to feel like it has that thing and I'm going to regret the next words that I come out of my mouth in a few weeks.
Good.
But have you considered
one of those traveler's notebooks with the individual ones that slide in like you were doing for a bit? Oh, what?
Have you considered just making your own notebook? Like, have you considered the idea of just, finding some paper, constructing it, folding it, coming up with, either a bound center or, looking at some of the ways that you can glue bind, papers? Like, have you contemplated this yet?
I have, but I will tell you, I haven't contemplated it for this particular project. I've contemplated it for a number of things previously. The problem that I have run into with it is that I don't actually have the right equipment to make a really good long-term binding. I can fake it.
Well, I'm just throwing these out here. Like I'm just.
Are you saying
that's all right? That's all right. I don't want to knock you down a rabbit hole that will take you weeks to come out of. But
but see, like I could get the right equipment. Like I need like the clamps to hold the paper. I need the thing like the awl to punch the holes to stitch the binding. And that, I mean, that's pretty much it. I just really need those two things.
I'm just saying, like, maybe that's a thing you might, Anyway, that's fine. Okay, cool. How about I name a few and then we'll rock and roll out of here?
Yeah. We rock and roll out of here. We'll record some outtakes and call this good.
Sure. So we named Star Trek already, of course. Cyberpunk Red would be another one. Of course, I want to run Cyberpunk Red. I'm very excited about the game in general. That is definitely, before it gets to my table in a campaign format, it is probably going to be a one-shot. I will probably run something just to play it out, like just to get, shake it out and like give it a feel. And then other things that I am excited about. So I really want to play Cartel. I know you played it.
I did.
You finished playing Cartel.
I did. It was delightful.
I held out for the completed game.
Yes.
Because I wanted the final completed game, and truthfully, I want the location cards, which I don't think are actually done yet. But the game book is so good looking. Like, it's so amazingly laid out, and I love the artwork. I've always been a fan of this game. I have always supported this game. I played it in its early incantation. I played it during the Kickstarter with Mark online one night. I think that was posted somewhere.
I watched it.
Yeah, and I'm dying to run it because I think, as we know, I'm a huge Narcos fan. So I very much want to run this game, but I've been waiting, so that's going to be on my table this year. And finally, I got two more. And they're both from the same publisher, Free League, because Free League is kind of rocking my world lately. Twilight 2000, which is probably a little more hardcore traditional game than I'm used to playing. But I love the premise of Twilight 2000, and as a kid, I could never grok the actual original game system because I was, I think, too young for it.
Sure.
So I'm actually looking forward to playing a more accessible version of Twilight 2000 and kind of telling some of those gritty war stories.
Uh-huh.
And then lastly, I had been kind of lukewarm on the Aliens game. Like, I thought it was a neat idea, but I didn't really think it was the kind of thing I wanted to get into. But they just announced in March that Free League's going to release the Colonial Marines Operations Guide, which means that you can play Colonial Marines like in the movie Aliens. And then suddenly my interest in this game shot up dramatically because Aliens is one of my favorite action movies, period.
Oh.
And the chance to actually play some Colonial Marines trying to wipe out some aliens is all I'm all for.
Sure. Yes.
So I will probably at some point pick up the Alien RPG and then the Colonial Marine Operations Guide so that I can play some Colonial Marines.
Yeah.
If you are of my generation, it probably rings truer. Like, Aliens was like what really got me into military sci-fi.
Okay.
Because I love that I love that Venn diagram of sci-fi and military. Anyway, I'll nerd no longer about that. There are folks who know exactly what I'm talking about.
Yes.
But
Good.
The first time I saw the Colonial Marines rock and roll in Aliens, I was sold.
I just realized that this is my excuse to go to Jet Pens.
I mean, all right. I'm going to just tell you as a person. I'm going to tell you as a person who goes to Jet Pens from time to time. Do not go to Jet Pens without setting a budget first.
Yes.
You have to set a budget first. There is no upper limit to how much you can spend at Jet Pens.
Oh dear.
So you gotta go in and be like, I'm buying a notebook, but I'm not spending more than $30 on a notebook.
Yeah, I'm not.
and people are like $30, but I assure you.
But it is just for a game, and
I assure you can spend more than that on Jet Pens for a notebook.
Yes.
I have talked myself down 3 times from a $200 German notebook system. Although, yes, I will say that. I was going to say, if you really wanted to do the Traveler's Notebook, I will send you my Traveler's cover and you can buy some inserts.
Oh,
I'm not using it.
Yeah, I'm trying to decide how easy it would be to write large chunks of information in, because I am expecting to do a pretty good amount of writing.
Well, the cool part is you just buy more inserts.
Yeah, no,
which
but I mean,
probably have some.
I mean, in terms of like getting them open and flat, and then like because they're long and narrow.
Oh, that is a problem.
Right.
That is the thing that over time I was like about the whole thing.
Right.
I myself, for a reasonable price notebook, I myself am a big fan of the Moleskine journals, and the big one. You don't have to get the little one. If you get the bigger one,
then it's easier.
Those open up really nicely. They lay flat. They're not spiral bound, so that they if you like spiral bound. I'm left-handed. I hate anything spiral bound.
I don't mind spiral bound because it is like I am right-handed, and I like things that open flat because I don't like to have to hold it open as I'm writing, which is part of the reason that I like the notebooks that I've been getting, the deconstructed ones.
My recommendation is get a Moleskine or something similar. Get it in dot. Not lines.
Yeah, because then you can draw and do charts. Yes. And that's kind of...
Because you can actually draw. Yeah. Like, that's the other thing. Like, I can't draw. Like, you could actually make your journal for this game, like, really artistic.
I know, and
like,
it's really exciting.
Right. Like, you could do sketches and then color them in and stuff. Like you could really do, like, that where I cannot.
Yes. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, so I you know what? I will point you at some jet pen journals that might achieve the goal that you're looking for.
Yeah. I mean, in the end,
with some good paper.
In the end, like it may be fine for me to just go to Barnes and Noble and browse, because I know that they have that kind of bullet journaling, but
take those words out of your mouth. Because if you're going to go to jet pens, not only...
Are you going to say, stop, get those words out of your mouth?
That's right. Get those words out of your mouth. No, because, all right, we'll talk about that. You know what? Let's wrap the show.
This up, and we can talk about that in the after show.
I'm going to talk to you about all of this.
Yes.
Okay.
Good.
Because we're about to fall down a stationary rabbit hole, and patrons should get to enjoy that.
And
in order for us to get out of this show and wrap it up, which we need to do right now, we need to talk about another show on the Misdirected Mark Network. What is that show?
Tonight we're going to talk about Gnome Stew, in which a random collection of gnomes who write...
Isn't it the Gnome Cast?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's from the Gnome Stew.
So the Gnome Cast, in which a variety of gnomes from Gnome Stew, which is what I was trying to go to, but my brain got a little bit ahead of me there, chat about cool topics, sometimes things that we've written about, sometimes just cool things that have to do with the world of gaming at the moment, occasionally interviews. But you should go check it out. It's actually shorter than this show now, which is really funny, unless I'm on it, in which case it's not.
Good luck.
In which case, that whole short form thing flies out the window, because let's just call this like it is. Phil is not the only one responsible for going long.
Thank you. Thank you.
You know.
Say, Senda, where do people find us on the internet?
Well, you can find us on Twitter at Pandas Talk Games. You can find us on the Misdirected Mark forums, which is forums.misdirectedmark.com. Or you can drop us an email, panda@misdirectedmark.com. And please, once you have us in one of those locations, Phil, what is the amazing, the wonderful, the brilliant thing that they can do for us to help us keep going, especially when we're like, oh gosh, need a bunch of short topics, which we may continue to do.
We need topics. It's plain and simple. We need your questions, your ideas, your suggestions, anything that you might want to hear us talk about on the show. The truth of the matter is, we could come up with this stuff ourselves.
Honestly,
we're a bit lazy about it, right? Like we've stopped writing the show. We've stopped editing the show. We're not even picking out the topics for the show. But truthfully, we've never picked out the topics for the show. So the other things have come after that. But anyway, the point being is, really the point is this. As much fun as we have talking to each other on the show, and we have a lot of fun talking to each other on the show, our main job and the whole reason we've been here for the 200 plus episodes is we want to make your games better.
Yeah.
So we do that by talking about the things that are important to you in gaming, so that our hopes is that our experiences and our ideas are things that you can carry off into your game and have better gaming experiences, better times with your friends, and just all around much better gaming. So we hope that we're doing that. And the way we do that is you give us ideas, we then talk about them. It's a very simple transaction, and we hope that you'll engage in it. So pick any one of those medias and do just that. Now, if you like what we do here or elsewhere on the Misdirected Mark Network, please consider supporting our Patreon campaign. Go to patreon.com/MMP. You get a bunch of stuff for supporting it. I'm just going to run through a couple of the highlights. You get access to the Slack room for life. I've said it, I think, almost every episode. It is a fine group of humans. It has been my safe harbor during these quarantines. And I really just enjoy the people that are there and just sharing life and talking about everything. We also do a luncheon. So if you're a patron, we put up a link. You can come join us for lunch or whatever meal falls at 12:30 p.m. Eastern for you.
Yes, whatever that is.
Whatever that is.
For me, it's second breakfast.
Yes. We like having you there. We like getting together and seeing everybody face to face. You get the after show from this show, which is sometimes known as the bonus outtakes, but really it's just kind of morphing into an after show. You get the after show from the Misdirected Mark. That show will be kicking off again, recording live next week. Actually, if you're listening to this, it'll be recording live tomorrow.
Yes.
It is next week for recording time, but for listening time, it's tomorrow. It'll be back on the air.
Yes.
And then there's other things you can do that you don't even have to be part of the patronage. Like you can, our watch parties and stuff like that. That's just on our forums, which are, open to everybody. Anyway, your patronage does a lot to make all of this possible, from our hosting to our equipment and all of that. So we appreciate all that immensely. We appreciate everyone who is a patron of the show immensely. So thank you. Thank you, everyone, for doing that. Now, if you are already a patron, that's awesome. And if you're not a patron, we totally understand. There's one more thing you can do. I don't even want to get into this elaborate plan. It is like the mousetrap of ideas. It involves you doing a whole bunch of things and getting some stranger to listen to us so that they will love us and also follow us, and then they won't be a stranger anymore because they'll be friends with you in the Slack room. There is that one more thing. What is that thing they can do?
Well, you can leave us a rating or review on Apple Podcasts or the podcatcher of your choice. Every new review we get really does actually help new people find the show. Like just random people who might be searching for RPG stuff and not know that they should be searching for pandas because that's weird.
It's true.
Save us from our SEO failure. So leave us a review. They also make us feel really warm and fuzzy on the inside. So thank you so very much to everybody who's already left one. We really, really appreciate them.
They're super helpful. And you can also do it just by telling your fellow gamers.
Yeah, you can do that too, or like on Twitter, or like whatever.
Yeah. Totally could do that. We love that too.
Yes. Good.
Cool. All right. Say, Senda. What characteristics are you looking for in a notebook?
This show is a joint production of She's a Super Geek and Misdirected Mark Productions, the media arm of Encoded Designs.
Show me what you got, eh? Show me what you got. Show me what you got, eh? Show me what you got. Show me what you got, eh? Show me what you got. Show me what you got, eh?
Clicky.
This time we are in good shape.
Yeah, sometimes Audacity does that. It's happened to me once or twice where it just all of a sudden it's like, yes, but no. And then, although you're recording in GarageBand, aren't you?
No, I'm recording in Audacity because it's much lighter for recording. But, it occurs to me that I did some funky things. Like I recorded a thing with Andy earlier. Then I unplugged my computer from everything that connected it to the mic. Then I walked back in and replugged it to everything that connected to the mic. And then when I hit record, it was like, I can't find your audio.
And was Audacity open the whole time?
Yes.
Oh my. Yeah, I don't think it much likes that. I try to make it. I try to make it a point to only open Audacity when the mic is plugged in, and then to what you call it, and then to close Audacity before I pull the mic out.
Yeah, it wasn't very pleased with me about all of that nonsense. But we closed it, we opened it, we're back in business.
I don't think it's super plug and pray.
And my oh my,
Plug and pray is what we used to call plug and play back in the early 90s when it first came out.
Oh, when it was like the giant.
No, I mean, yes. I mean,
like
yes.
or like
No. When plug and play first came out, like USB plug and play and stuff like that,
Sure.
it wasn't very stable. So plug and pray was more like it. Like you just plug it in, unplug it, and hope to God the system wasn't like, what just happened?
I don't know. I had a Mac then, and whatever you could plug in did usually just work.
I'll tell you the thing that I'll tell you the thing the Mac is still cranky about, though, right? Like I have a backup drive, man, and if you, I haven't had to do this during the pandemic because I, just work at home. But when I was working in the office, I would have to constantly unplug my laptop and take it with me to meetings. Mm-hmm. And boy, if you don't eject that backup disk, is it unhappy?
It gets mad because you have to safely eject it.
Yes, it will tell you in no uncertain terms what you have done wrong.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because you can do bad things to your data.
Yeah, so I found a free little tiny application that goes up in the bar that ejects everything in one push.
So you just be like, click.
Yeah, you just hit it, and then like whatever it is, like even if there's like ISOs mounted or whatever, it just like. Actually, I think the way I have it configured, it will unplug all external media, but it will not unmount ISOs. Like anything that's local.
We should talk about this after the show.
No, we really shouldn't. We should not talk about this after.
We should start the show.
Yes.
Is what I'm kind of pushing for.
Yeah, we should do that, but we should not come back to this topic. That is not a thing we should return to. Okay.
Okay.
Are you ready to begin?
I'm ready.
Okay. Bloop. Jingle, jingle, jingle. Boom, boom.
Oh, you're going to grab the jingle belly? I already did that. We already did that.
It's holiday. You can do it again.
No, I can't because this is going to come out after Christmas.
Like bells don't exist after Christmas. Whatever.
Yeah, they don't exist after Christmas. What is the sound of New Year's?
Oh, the party horn.
Yeah, or like clinking champagne glasses or like fireworks.
No, fireworks you're just going to confuse with 4th of July. that's what is happening to this show.